Let's go.
We talked a little bit about my presentation, but I thought I was going to say the alphabet soup because we've got so many different acronyms, and hopefully everyone's familiar with these, and I'll talk through these before. So go ahead, next slide. So one of the things I wanted to mention, and I talked about this, is both within the IEEE mission as well as PES, the betterment of society is a part of it. And I think that goes back to why our electrical engineers and physicists are interested in some of these different activities. It's about particularly the betterment of society, and so I think that's an important part of what we're about. Go ahead, Ray. So I wanted to, and I guess it was 2008 it started. I was looking online and tried to find it, but basically the IEEE Humanitarian Technology Challenge, which is HTC that you'll see, there were 3 different main goals that were selected: reliable electricity, data connectivity for health, and then the individual ID tied to records. And you all have Ray here in person, but several of you have Robin Podmore also, is a very passionate person as well, and has been a liaison, and is actually our vice president on our board for initiatives and outreach. And so I think that's kind of, they've created the impetus and getting things going from a passion, personal passion, and moving things forward. The next slide. So this is, I just cut this from the HTC website, but to give you an idea what, and Ray was talking about what was there, what were the challenges: low cost, low maintenance, scalability, flexibility, environmentally friendly, all those different aspects, and then local training. And you know, it's kind of the story about if you give someone a fish, they eat for a day. If you teach them how to fish, they eat for a lifetime. And I'm probably slaughtering that quote, but hopefully you get the idea there. And I think that's really important. And one of the neat things about this, the ideas with CSI, is making it something that is sustainable locally and is not, you're teaching them to fish so they can continue in what they're doing. Next slide.
As long as it's not catching release.
As long as it's not catching release, that's right. I think I just want to talk a little bit about the Power and Energy Society and NPSS. They've both been involved in different levels, but I wanted you to understand some of the dynamics related. So we had an opportunity, there was some funding from IEEE in the HTC programs in maybe 2008, 2009 timeframe. Does that sound right? The IEEE level?
Yeah, it was HTC and then 2000.
And then 2010, PES, Robin came, I guess it was a T&D conference that we, after some initial discussions in Calgary, came and we had an opportunity where we had some funds that we could look at initiatives, and that's when we first started providing some initial initiative funds. And one of the things we saw within IEEE is the HTC program was kind of an initiative, and then they wanted to hand it off to another group, not keep it at that level. And we were fortunate that the synergy with CSI and the Power and Energy Society from a technical way as well as the passion, the personal passion. And so it moved under the PES umbrella operationally to help us have a spot where it was. It still continues to have efforts at the IEEE level, but PES operationally and financially, we have an annual budget. We also raise good enough if we have a little extra money at the end of the year to figure out a way to spend it, because some of our funds go away we don't have access to, so we appreciate Ray taking care of that for us at the times. But we do have an operational budget, and what we're trying to do and what we're evolving into is, as you see, like this session, but we have panel sessions, demonstrations. We had a trailer in Detroit last summer. We have workshops at PES related events to try to get the word out, talk about what's happening, and share with other PES members and things like that. And I think what we're trying to look at now is how do we take that passion and that what I'll call a pilot project, and how do we now create an infrastructure, a project and process infrastructure and volunteer support to help it go to that next level. And we all know organizations where you get a great project and going, and trying to transfer that and make that sustainable and make that scalable. So, I mean, we've heard about a bunch of different projects today that we can leverage best practices of what we've learned, but every area has its own little unique activities and has its unique personality, and that's where having the Africans here involved helps us get into those communities because they understand the dynamics of the communities and can help us with what I'll call the social political avenue. As engineers, we're worried about the technical and we just want to say, here's a trailer, here's something, but we've got to work within the social political environment to be successful. So what we want to do, and I'm hoping over the next couple of days, and I think we're in the process, and Pat Ryan is really our resource as the executive director of PES to understand some of our challenges related to, like any group, the IEEE has these policies and stuff, and we can't just spend money wherever we want to. We have to work within those confines, and unfortunately in the US, as we all know, those paperwork issues have grown as one person screws it up for all of us, and then we all have to do that. But we're trying to make sure that we're doing this in a way that we can follow the money and people are comfortable with that, so we can do the goals that we have here within the constraints we have within IEEE. So I think that's a really important part of over the next couple of days in talking is how do we build that infrastructure, how do we create that volunteer support also to help in that next level projects in Africa and around the world. And NPSS has also been very involved, obviously along the way from the beginning with your involvement in there. And so one of the things we partnered, and actually one of the challenges was we had our money, we had our money, but if someone wanted to donate money to the cause because of their interest within IEEE, we couldn't take that money into PES because of some of the logistics. So working with NPSS, we actually created a foundation account. We went through all the paperwork, which again took 6 to 8 months. We won't bore you with those details, but you know, every process that should take a week always takes that, and you all know that being in the type of organizations you're in. So now we actually have an account for CSI. So now any group within IEEE can give money to help if they have initiative funds like we had in that original year, or if they want to get more involved, or if external folks want to get involved, or if we personally wanted to give money, then we can all do that now. There's an account that is set up for that. So that's really a big step in helping financially get backing for some of these different initiatives, especially maybe seed projects where they're not as developed and getting some things going there. Next one. So that was just kind of a high-level overview. Henry, do you want to add any, or Pat, do you want to add anything to that? Henry?
Yeah, I can say a couple of things. You know, I'm wearing my VP of Membership and Image hat, not my CSI hat right now, is that when we go through our budgeting process, you know, we have to look at the money we give to CSI, and we compare it with all the other initiatives and all the other ways that we spend money. And so we don't make an anonymous donation. Okay? We need to also see what PES is getting out of it. And it could be we just have members involved, and this is something that members do and they like to do it and all of that. But I think if we get too far away from that, there's going to be some questions on the board saying, why do we give money to this? Are even any PES members involved? Or is there any promotion? Is there any workshops that are being held? You know, what's the member benefit from doing this?